We have with us from ALS Automated Logistics, President Joe Parker. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning. You ready for a epic experience today?
Right now I am.
All right.
Northern Michigan's open, your hometown.
Yeah, I saw that last night. It's going to be one heck of a Memorial Day up there. I saw those shops that, they truly survive on the tourist industry as well as a lot of, resort people. One thing people do not know is that Northern Michigan is not people's second homes. It's sometimes people's third and fourth homes. So there is some crazy money up there. And what I remember back in 2008, Bay Harbor, which is one of the more luxurious and very nice area up there, that in 2008 it was almost a ghost town because they didn't, people couldn't afford to keep their fifth home or sixth home up and going.
These are private jet homes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different level of money. But I will say, from somebody who grew up there, but the community in Northern Michigan definitely thrives off the wealthy who come up there, invest the money in the tax dollars, and goes back in the community. So I got nothing bad to say about that. So. And again, we all want to be there one day, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, I know in Petoskey, your hometown, there's a couple of brand new hotels that haven't been able to open yet. And the restaurants being open and retail, that's one thing, but people not being able to actually stay at hotels in Northern Michigan, at least for now, is probably going to be a really big blow on the tourism economy.
Yeah. I was talking to some business leaders the other day, and for those who haven't necessarily felt the impact, some people have felt it, that it's coming, because just like the supply chain, people are at different life cycles of the economy. But you literally have to go back and think and go, when has the last time the U.S. economy came to an abrupt halt? They literally pulled the plug on there. Even during the Great Depression, people didn't, all of a sudden the stock market didn't crash and everybody walk out the building on Monday with a box full of stuff and prepare to work from home. That's what happened. And it was a slow decline in the Depression, and it is gradually, and what we did was literally pulled the plug, everything crashed. Some industries hadn't shut down in years, and people have seasonal slowdowns and everything like that, and to think that you can plug it back in, that is going to be the challenge. But what's great about the U.S. and has always been great about it is the true American spirit, that we will perceive, we will overcome, we will survive, and we're going to dominate it. And that's the same approach that we try to talk to our employees every single day, and keep that confidence and underlying belief that we will overcome. And we can't be too optimistic, because as we saw, that there's nothing really, it's like telling a kid that you're gonna go on vacation, and every week you just keep disappointing them. So you can't be overly optimistic, but you can go out there, live every day like a great day, and give people epic experiences. And that's what we meant to do.
Joe, when the plug is pulled on the economy, what does that do to your industry? Because you're working obviously worldwide, but with different states and different industries shut down, and you're running supply chain across the entire country. I mean, just explain what that does to your business.
Yeah, we're just, from ALS's perspective, we have 71 employees. We have 3 offices, one in Grand Rapids, one in the main office here in Jackson, and one in Laredo, Texas. The one in Texas and Jackson, we do a fair amount of warehousing, and we take a lot of freight to and from Mexico down in the border. And so we have 3 people in Jackson working. We have a remote warehouse that's running that Ford sequencing plant from a couple years ago. And in Laredo, I think we have like 5 people working, but the 63 people are working remotely. They've been working remotely from since I think March 18th. We're down about, for April, we're down about 70% of our orders are down. And it's kind of a really kick in the gut when you see that every single day. But you know, the reality is that it's going to come back. We're seeing signs right now that it might be about 20 to 30% reduction in supply for automotive, which is what we do. And that's being real. That's being real. It could come back even more, but that's really what we're planning for. And so you know, we've been tracking the automotive plant restarts. That's really kind of gives an indication of how much how quickly this is going to come up here. And so you got a little screenshot that we're showing. There's about 43 plants, assembly plants in the United States, and there is about 23, I think, in Mexico. And we've been tracking all of these plants, and when you looked at this week over week, you would see some things that would say May 4th, and then it would move out to the 11th and move all over the place. And these people, it gives an indication when you look at a bunch of moving parts and, you know, unpredictable events, and you look at them individually, they seem like it's overwhelming. But when you add them collectively, which is what we did, and you put them all together, you start to get a good sense and a good picture of really what was going on in the automotive industry. And you know, right here in Jackson, there is a good amount of the businesses in manufacturing in Jackson. Actually, whether it's they're going directly into tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, has some indication in the automotive industry. And so it was really important for the U.S. to get these automotive plants going and slowly start to fill that supply chain. I'll talk in a little bit about about toilet paper, but it gives a good indication of just how diverse and how structured a supply chain is. And when you pull on it too much in one different direction, it just doesn't move. It doesn't move very easily. So
We're with Joe Parker, president of ALS, and we're going to find out what the problem with getting all that toilet paper was right after this quick break.
We're learning how to read.
The library helped me find a job.
The library helped me find my great-great-great-grandfather.
I love checking out movies and Hotspot.
I get all the homework help I need.
I can't make it to the library, so they bring it to me.
Jackson District Library. Discover, learn, succeed.
We are living through a unique, trying time. COVID-19 has changed how we work, play, and go to school. A few things will never change.
Our homes are our sanctuaries, our family and friends are our support teams, and Jackson is a community that pulls together.
COVID-19 is a silent, potentially deadly enemy, but we are attacking it with a massive, coordinated healthcare army here in Jackson and across the nation.
Make no mistake, we will prevail. Jacksonians are smart, resilient, and determined. The curve is flattening, thanks to your efforts.
Continue social distancing, avoid crowded places, and do not share eating utensils and food. 6 feet away or more is now our norm.
Wash your hands frequently for 20 seconds and wear a face mask if you go out. If you have a fever, cough, or shortness of breath, please call your doctor about scheduling a test for COVID-19.
Stay safe, Jackson.
Stay home, Jackson.
Stay healthy, Jackson.
Stay apart, Jackson.
Stay vigilant.
Stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Thank you, Jackson, for helping us slow the spread of COVID-19.
$736 million people struggle to meet their basic needs. An estimated 40 million people have fallen victim to human trafficking. 51 million kids go hungry every day. And every day, together with thousands of corporate partners and millions of donors and volunteers, United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community.
Performance Automotive Northwest. We do way more than auto parts. We've got new lawn equipment from John Deere and Honda, chainsaws and trimmers from Steel and Husqvarna, 2 John Deere ready-to-mow mobile service trailers to make repairs quick and easy for you, and of course our bumper-to-bumper parts selection for almost every vehicle. We really do have it all. We'll even fill your propane. Performance Automotive Northwest, proud to be independent and locally owned for 35 years. Visit us today on Airport Road in Jackson.
We're back on the morning show with Joe Parker from ALS. And Joe, as soon as this pandemic started, I wanted to call you because the toilet paper was impossible to find. What was the deal with the toilet paper supply chain?
Yeah, I had the same question. It's like, okay, what is the reason for this? Are people actually using more toilet paper? It's not the Jackson Chili Cook-Off, so I don't think the actual need for toilet paper was going. But if you take a look at what the supply chain here is and how the whole thing looks like, this was a pretty steady stream almost year round. So it's not like seasonally toilet paper consumption goes up and down. It's pretty consistent. I think I read somewhere like 83 million rolls of toilet paper are produced every single day throughout the year. And so you're looking at this thing, and this thing can ramp up, it can ramp down, it can go slowly. But what happened is, right on the rear end, you might have had double to triple the consumption. So what happened was, on the supply chain, it literally sucked all of the inventory on the front side out and sucked it out and said, this machine that's been running constantly over months and years and saying, okay, now you got to fill this thing. So even if I flip the switch on the front, which says go back to start ordering more and more pulp grinding and get the papers going and then produce it in production, it takes a while to backfill that supply chain. It's not like, hey, the toilet paper plants can now go triple capacity and have guys on 3rd and 4th shifts that even if you turn it back on, it's going to come back in. And then what's going to happen, right? Now, pretty soon, our whole supply chain is going to get filled back up. All the shelves are going to get stocked and everything like that. And then you're going to be at home and go, do I really need 4 packs of toilet paper? And it either is going to be the norm, where all of us keep double the toilet paper supply on hand, or we're slowly going to say we don't need it, we don't need it. And then what's going to happen is, literally, the paper industry is going to have, the toilet paper industry is going to have the same amount of sales. It's just, it was loaded on the front, and then now you've got all these people that are going to be out of business because there's going to be no demand for toilet papers. But you know, what's interesting is that the human consumption is that what we get used to of inventory and supply. So I was thinking about this. How many flashlights do you have, Bart, in your house?
Probably 12.
And you know, remember you used to go to the grocery store, and every shelf there was like 3 or 4 flashlights. Everybody had flashlights. You had a flashlight in your car. You had a flashlight. Some people would put it in their briefcase. Some people would put it in their wife's car. And then they would put one in the basement. And then they would put one by the electrical switch. And then 2 by each nightstand. And think about all the flashlights that get produced in the United States. Now, let's go to Andy. Andy, how many flashlights do you have?
Maybe you could find 1.
And if you needed a flashlight, where are you going to get it?
My pocket.
Out of your cell phone, right? And so you look at just the human consumption of industries and saying, is it gonna be normal, the new normal now, to have 6 cases of toilet paper? Or is it gonna be, we're gonna eventually go back to that? So
what can that do to jam the supply chain if all of a sudden none of these large paper towels or toilet papers are being taken off those shelves anymore at some of these stores.
And you go back, and when you look at this giant map of the supply chain, and when you get into that warehouse silo and the retail silo, those trucks are not just shipping toilet paper. They're shipping other commodities. And so when you go in the Target distribution center, there's kids' bikes and swimsuits and shaving cream are all in the same truck with the toilet paper. So now they're all fighting for space and competing. And in a sense, the industry that we're in supply chain, it's going to be chaotic when things start restarting. You're already seeing it right now. People not knowing, are they going to need to ship a truckload or 1 or 2 skids? But that's where we thrive, is this chaos. Chaos in your supply chain, that you do not have the same predictability every single day. You can't go back up and say, well, this is how it always did. I call this trucker. And that's what we try to do. And in this midst of this chaos, you've got new people that are being asked to do different tasks that they wouldn't have to do. Some companies aren't back full start. The guys who normally do logistics aren't there. But you know what? The thing that we thrive on, and the things that we push all of our employees every single day, is what we do every single day is we deliver epic experiences. We're not in transportation. We're not in logistics. We're not in supply chain. Our job is to deliver an epic experience to our customer. It's something that they feel good about, because their days, some days are whether they're in this pandemic or not. Some people have good days, some people have bad days. What we want to know with our customers is that when they call ALS, it's an epic experience, something that they are memorable, something that makes them feel good, and it's in some places it's the highlight of their day.
Well, speaking of good days and bad days, how are things at the Parker House?
Oh, they're going great here. We're getting ready for Memorial Day. My son Jonah is Star Student of the Week this week, so congratulations, Jonah.
Nothing like waiting until the last minute.
Nothing waiting to the last minute. One thing that is absolutely awesome is I have probably the best teacher in the world, which is my wife. She was a teacher for several years and went out and got her master's degree, and so I have this wonderful teacher sitting at home who is ready to go to work, and she's been doing a great job, and I give her a lot of credit. And not only that, my wife is a great party planner. So it's interesting of what you do for your kids is just, let's give our kids an epic experience. Everything you can do, go over the top. And my wife loves to have parties, and my daughter Raina graduated preschool on Friday, and she went to Little Cherubs, and they normally used to do a big ceremony where they get a little cap and they would get a Bible and go across the stage. Well, it was kind of disappointing that she couldn't have it, and so my wife, even with all the limited resources that she had, she did an amazing job of creating a party, and we had a cake and we had a little ceremony with cap and gowns, and we had some friends come over. They stayed 6 feet apart, and we had a little bridge crossing. We found somebody in the neighborhood that had a little bridge going across his garden, so she did that, and she walked across the ceremony, and we had balloons, and it was pretty. It was a pretty special event. So I sometimes when my wife has these requests late at night to saying, hey, you need to go fill up balloons or go make this thing, and I'm like, I just want to go to bed, but she encourages me, and we go do that. When you wake up and your kids see that in the morning, it's pretty awesome. So
yeah, you're getting to spend a lot of good time with the family. I know you've enjoyed that.
Yes, definitely. It's different. It's a different environment. I can't say it's all too productive sometimes, but you understand what your spouse has to go through. But if anything out of this, maybe we've convinced my wife to go full time to be a party planner. So if anybody needs to have one heck of a party, call me. My wife Gretchen. Email Joe Parker at Automated Logistics, and I'll get you a hold of the best party planner in the state of Michigan.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
Good to see you,
Now
Joe.
we know why the toilet paper is not on the shelves.
So, well, here's the question. In a month from now, are you going to have 2 packs of toilet paper? Or are you going to have 12 like all those flashlights?
2.
Probably 12.
Yes.
But there's no batteries in the flashlights, so it's like having none.
4 million people around the world don't use toilet paper. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Well, thanks for your expertise. Logistics and supply chain expert Joe Parker, CEO at Automated Logistics Systems. Thanks to Joe and Stephanie and everyone working on our show today, our sponsors, and thanks to you for tuning in. Later today, Kyle Lewis, Scott Leach, Brian Rich, Mason Hines, and Cindy Hayden. Tomorrow on the morning show, our science expert, Dr. Matthew Badke. Thanks for watching. See you this afternoon.